Today I'm going to be giving a review of Killers of the Flower Moon ahead of the Oscars that's premiering. Overall, I thought the movie was really, really great. Just the acting by Leonardo DiCaprio and also Robert De Niro. I feel like overall the movie was great. It just showed the detail in the movie was great as well. Really paid attention to the heritage. Of the Native Americans. So I really, really love that. And it was really great to just actually see their culture in the light, so I really appreciated that. So basically, Martin Scorsese is his film. Killers of the Flower Moon is based on a non-fiction book by David Grann that investigates the murders of a dozen of Native American people in Oklahoma in the 1920s. It is an epic tale that exposes not only the murders themselves, but also greed, wealth, conspiracy, racism in the early days of the FBI. So overall, the movie was really, really great. At first, I'm not going to lie to you, the movie is 3.5 hours long. So I definitely feel like it's worth the watch. I was a little confused at first because I thought, okay, are they going to get or are they not going to get it? Because at first it was looking like they was going to get away with it. They're just robbing these people blind. Obviously, the native people was wealth. So a lot of the time, the white Americans was chasing that wealthiness by trying to marry into their families, or either like you seen Robert De Niro and Leonardo DiCaprio characters would try to get a scheme to really kill them off and create life insurance policies to get access to some money. The movie overall was really, really great. I obviously, at first it was just seeming like Leonardo DiCaprio didn't really know what he was doing. He was giving off that innocent guy role. But obviously you saw that he had more to do with it than he was letting on. The fact that at first I was confused because the wife was getting so sick. I'm like, oh my goodness, is she getting insulin or is she not getting insulin? Then you later see that he's actually putting something in the insulin to make her sick. So obviously he's trying to maybe kill her to get access to the oil mills and get money to him, and his children would get access to that money if she did die. So obviously Molly does come to her senses. His wife, Molly, does come to her senses, and she decides to leave him at the end. But at first it was just looking like, oh my goodness, I felt so bad for her. I just wanted her to get away. You know, her family, her sisters is dying left and right. And I feel like she just didn't deserve that, you know. She just came in and looking for love. She already knew that he had some red flags of being a snake. The fact that he didn't like to work. Leonardo DiCaprio's character didn't like to work, but she obviously married him. She knew that he was after the money, but she married him anyway. So I feel like she ignored those red flags. I feel like that's a lot of the times when you're in love with someone, you just kind of ignore those red flags. But I feel like before she even got in with him, she already knew the red flags, but she chose to pursue him anyway. So it's like, I did feel bad for her, but in a way, she chose to go down that path. So it's really not much that could have been done at that point. But overall, it's great, great acting. I would be really shocked if Robert De Niro didn't win an Oscar for his portrayal in this movie. You know, obviously he's playing, he's like a two-headed snake in this film. He's obviously playing like a guy that's trying to come up with these get-rich-quick schemes with trying to get the insurance policies. But at first, in the very beginning of the film, he's obviously portraying this good guy to the people that is native to that land. He's trying to portray that good guy role. So obviously you see that he's like, oh wow, he's such a good guy. He's there for the family. He's always there for them. He knew some of the girls since they were children. So that's what it was giving off. But in the middle, like in the thick of it, you realize, okay, He's involved in a scheme, and he's a snake. He's a two-headed snake. And I feel like a lot of people didn't see it coming. So that's why they try to get the FBI. They try to get the FBI involved because they're looking like, who could have done this to us? Because at the end of the day, we trust them. They knew at the end of the day it had to be some of the white Americans, but they didn't know who. But they didn't know the person was underneath their thumb the entire time. So it took for really the FBI to get involved for them to really pretty much crack the case. And obviously it was just a lot for to figure out if he was going to testify, to figure out if Leonardo DiCaprio's character was going to testify against Robert De Niro's character. So obviously that was a lot to see how that was going to play out. But obviously, even though he wasn't charged in that particular murder, he still was charged with another murder, which he was exonerated. But at the end of the day, that still was a huge thing. And also, I really, really love the ending of it. Just telling that story rather than show you the path that the characters took. Instead, they rather just tell you, put on like a little play about how the characters moved on and how long they lived for, and just how did Leonardo DiCaprio, after Miley got a divorce from him, how did he live out his days after getting out of jail? And that really wasn't, it was in no man's land. I mean, it's like he wasn't happy. He was just kind of wallowing his way and drinking until he ultimately passed away. Same with Robert De Niro's character. After that, he wasn't really trustworthy. Nobody really trusted him after that. So obviously he ultimately died. So but at the end of the day, it was a really, really great movie. I love the storytelling, especially at the end. They even had the sound effects, so you really kind of visualize what was really going on. My mom also told me, like, back then, that's what you had to do. It was like you would hear these mysteries on the radio, and you kind of had to visualize it with the sound effects that they would have. So I really thought that they did a great job with that aspect, capturing that aspect in the 1920s of like a play, storybook play on the radio. So I feel like that was really, really great. Overall, this movie is great. It's a fantastic movie. Despite being 3.5 hours, a little skeptical about that, but overall, it did not disappoint. I would definitely give it a 10 out of 10. Just the level of acting is insane. The storytelling is insane. And I'm just happy that I finally watched this movie, and I'm so happy that it's nominated for 10 Oscars, so I'm hoping that Robert De Niro can snag up this Oscar. He hasn't won an Oscar. In the 70s, he won one for Godfather, and also in 1980, he won one for Scorsese's drama Raging Bull. So it's nice to see him teaming up with him again on this next project. Overall, I feel like he really complimented that role. He really took heed to that role. I love all the movies that Robert De Niro plays in because he really becomes that character. He even has the mannerism down to a T. And also, Leonardo DiCaprio is fantastic. Every role that I've seen him in is amazing. So I'm hoping that this movie in particular wins big at the Oscars tomorrow night. Thank you. Please like and subscribe.